Welcome back. Okay, let's dive right into today's explainer. We're going to unpack a really fascinating correlation between our modern communication crisis, Gen Z's search for meaning, and believe it or not, how building an exclusive community is basically the ultimate business hack. We're pulling insights directly from the Hustleverse today, and we're going to see how these massive societal shifts actually present just a completely incredible opportunity for you to rethink connection and ultimately success. So here's our roadmap for today. We're covering escaping the crab bucket, the Gen Z disconnect, the communication crisis, belonging as a business, and finally, your blueprint for success. Let's get right into it. Section 1, escaping the crab bucket and finding community. We all know that traditional crabs in a bucket mentality, right? You know, someone tries to climb out and achieve something, and the others just pull them right back down. But the Hustleverse actually flips this idea completely on its head. Picture this instead. Crabs outside the barrel, separated by these powerful, chaotic currents, but they are fighting to find their way back to each other. They grab on, they uplift, they protect the community. It's an amazing metaphor because true success, it really comes from identifying people who are struggling, putting your arms around them, and building together instead of tearing each other apart. But here's the catch. Before you can rescue anyone else or, build a thriving space, you have to cultivate that relentless internal driver within yourself. Every single day. The source material emphasizes this point heavily. You literally cannot transfer motivation to others that you don't personally possess. You've got to show up. You've got to build your own consistency and generate that internal fire first. Because, when you finally do find someone to uplift, you need to actually have the strength to guide them. Makes sense, right? Okay, moving to section 2, the Gen Z disconnect, looking at the unhappiest generation. So looking at this data, the crucial difference really lies in how our generational struggles have evolved over time. Older generations, they face severe physical hardships just to survive, walked miles in the snow, that sort of thing. Gen Z, however, they are absolutely drowning in mental and emotional overwhelm. In fact, they're officially recognized as the unhappiest youth generation, specifically in places like the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. It's crazy because despite having unprecedented digital access, actually navigating today's world has never felt harder. It's a massive paradox, honestly. Modern comfort and this endless barrage of technology absolutely have not solved the core human problem of emotional emptiness. If anything, they've completely amplified it. Each generation becomes more technologically connected but emotionally disconnected. We have never, ever been more visible online, and yet we've never felt more isolated in reality. This brings us to section 3, the communication crisis and losing genuine dialogue. This emotional void didn't just happen overnight. If we look at the timeline, around 2005, we started out using real names to find genuine connections. But then by 2012, we transitioned into creating these fabricated avatars, those fake highlight reels projecting luxury just to hide our real-life struggles. Eventually, around 2018, communication completely degraded into passive scrolling and these generic, short little comments. And today, in 2024, that has morphed into severe online criticism and emotional ghosting. It's simple. Because we stopped using our true conversational muscle, we kind of just lost it. And the real-world symptoms of this crisis are glaring. We've actually reached a point where people don't just avoid simple phone calls, they're literally ghosting face-to-face Zoom meetings because just looking someone in the eye to have a real conversation is somehow too intimidating. The source notes it's even visible in the fast food drive-thru. Think about it. People often can't even maintain basic eye contact while just handing over cash for a burger. The entire interaction has become totally lifeless and purely transactional. A lot of this stems directly from what we call performative posting, which is basically presenting this fake, luxurious online avatar to mask real-life struggles. When people stop seeing each other as actual humans, and they start treating each other as just passive content to be judged or swiped past, empathy just disappears and isolation skyrockets. People are out there living these fictitious lives online while hurting so much in reality. And when the digital world lacks human respect, that toxicity bleeds directly into our physical, everyday interactions. All right, section 4, belonging as a business and creating exclusivity. So here is where the massive opportunity lies. If an entire generation is basically starved for authentic communication and just a place to fit in, the single most valuable thing you can build right now is a community of genuine belonging. The source highlights a really massive key here. A strong sense of belonging at work is a top predictor of Gen Z happiness. They don't necessarily want those strict traditional corporate desk jobs, but they absolutely want to feel seen, connected, and valued by a community. And, everyday physical retail psychology already proves that we humans actively crave exclusive clubs. Think about a regular supermarket for a second. It's open to everyone, it's purely transactional, there's zero connection. But then look at a warehouse club, like Costco or Sam's Club. People literally pay for a membership just for the privilege of walking through the door. It's wild. They want that shared identity, that unique access. And yeah, the food samples, but mostly that community feel. The blueprint for your online business already exists right here in the real world. So the takeaway? If you treat your online business simply as a transactional storefront, you're going to struggle. You really need to transition into being a community club, a place where people feel chosen, valued, and safe to communicate. You have to facilitate real dialogue instead of just chasing passive likes. Create that exclusive, members-only access. Build in live interactions, like real Zoom meetups. Because ultimately, you're selling identity and connection first. Your products, they're completely secondary to the community itself. Moving into our final part, Section 5, Blueprint for Online Success, and the one thing you need. Let's look at the upcoming live training with Wayne Crow. It's explicitly titled The One Thing You Need for Success Right Now. And this blueprint directly tackles the total paralysis of information overload. It refocuses everything on the absolute essential skills of connection and clarity. It is so easy to get lost in a sea of secret AI software and shiny new tools, right? But what actually works is establishing those foundational marketing skills, prioritizing clarity, and learning how to build true communicating communities. You really cannot afford to miss this community event, so make sure you take action. The source invites you to jump into the Hustleverse today. Just comment the word hustle to get the mega link and join the exclusive live training. This is your chance to really grab those foundational skills, secure your spot among fellow builders, and experience firsthand exactly what it feels like to be part of a real, thriving online community. So, I want to leave you with this pretty provocative thought. Are you just trying to make a quick, lifeless digital sale? Or are you ready to actually cure the connection crisis by building a true community? Will you continue to be a crab pulling others down in the digital bucket? Or will you rise above and build an exclusive space where people actually belong? The future belongs to those who communicate. The choice is entirely yours.
They keep telling you, stay motivated. Watch this. Listen to that. Get inspired. But what happens when the video ends? When the music fades? When nobody's clapping, watching, or waiting for you to win? What moves you then? I used to run on borrowed energy, quotes, speeches, people hyping me, yeah. Felt unstoppable for a moment, then I'd crash, like it was never in me. That's the problem with external fuel. It burn quick, don't last, don't rule. You dependent on a source outside, so when it disappears, so do you. I was chasing feelings, not building fire, waiting to feel ready instead of climbing higher. But readiness ain't a mood you catch, it's a discipline you wire. So I had to ask myself something different. If nobody ever told me keep going, would I answer that honestly? I realized purpose don't scream, it whispers. It ain't in the crowd, it's found in the mirror. It ain't in applause or validation checks. It's in what you do when there's nothing to flex. Yeah. Motivation temporary, purpose permanent. One phase away, the other's inherent. You don't wake up feeling it every day, but purpose don't care how you feel anyway. It moves through you even when you're tired, even when life feel misaligned and wired. It's that quiet push you can't explain. Let's say do it again through the doubt and pain. So I stopped asking how do I feel and started asking what's real, what's mine to build, what's mine to create. That's when I found something stronger than fate. I don't need a reason. I am the reason. I am the reason. I don't need the feeling. I don't need the feeling. I move with meaning. No more waiting. No more waiting. No more chasing. No more chasing. Internal driver. That's what's leading. Yeah. Now I move like it's already decided. No hesitation, no need to be guided. I built a system inside of my soul that don't break down when I'm losing control. External noise don't shake my direction. I learned to operate without the connection. Not disconnected but self-sustained. Energy internal, never drained. I don't need hype, I don't need cheers. I done built this through blood, sweat, tears. Every rep carved into my frame. Now discipline calling me by name. This is what it looked like when purpose drive. You ain't just working, you feel alive. Even in struggle there's something deeper. You not just moving, you moving with meaning. Listen close. Purpose don't shout, it pulls. It don't beg, it demands. And once you feel it, you can't go back. There's gonna be days you don't feel like it. Do it anyway. There's gonna be days you question everything. Keep going anyway. Because the ones who make it ain't the most motivated. They the most committed. To something deeper than motivation. I don't need a reason. Don't need a reason. I am the reason. Am the reason. I don't need the feeling. Don't need the feeling. I move with meaning. Move with meaning. No more waiting. No more waiting. No more chasing. No more chasing. Internal driver. That's what's leading. When the world go quiet, when the noise disappear, when nobody's watching, that's when you find out if you really got it, or if you was just borrowing it. Borrowing it.
5 reasons why self-awareness is important, part 3. Promotes versatility and open-mindedness. Knowing yourself can be very crucial to affecting the approach that you have on issues. Self-awareness in itself is the ability to actively seek to listen to the body and mind to know your natural response to change. This consciousness can thus help you have a clear focus when dealing with issues. You are also able to accept opinions, feedback, and criticism from other people without being subjected. Ultimately, you are able to have multiple solutions to a single problem. If you are struggling to build an online business comment hustle for access to an exclusive, free live training that will help you solve that problem.
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepare was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen, you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live. And once again, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is Strong 53, day one, and we are right at 15 minutes into today's challenge. Now, I have to start off by saying this. These last 3, 4 days have been some challenging days. I want to ask you guys, did you check out Friday's live? Did you check out the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge on Friday? Well, if you didn't check that one out, you know, I kind of, I want to encourage you to watch it, but I don't. So I got mixed feelings about it. Friday's live was one of those lives that, kind of got interrupted. I had some things going on. I had some construction going on. I had some things that, started earlier than what I expected. And not only did those things start earlier than what I expected them to start, but it was more detailed. It was more to it, more that had to be done than what I expected to have to be done. It kind of changed the way my whole day went. I expected to just have like, some minor construction stuff be done. And it turned into an all-day process where I was moving back and forth. I was actually helping the workers do some things, move some stuff out of the way because it entailed doing more than what I expected. And it made me think. In the moment, I was frustrated, you know, not knowing what to expect and being, surprised by something is, you know, one of those things that puts us in an emotional state of mind, right? So my emotions was kind of running a little high, and I had to find a way to calm myself down because when unexpected things happen, it's only human nature for us to react a certain way. And me myself, I get petty about small things and I get even more pettier about bigger things, you know. So when my environment is interrupted, when my peace is interrupted, when things don't go according to the plan that I think is supposed to be laid out, that could put me in a certain type of mood. And I think that that's what happens with the majority of people. So Friday, even though it was a challenging day, and to be honest, I'm still a little sore about it even today. Not just emotionally, the emotions have died down, but physically. I had to move around some stuff as I stated before, and I'm a little sore physically. But when as the time went on, as the days passed, I started to look at the situation, and just like in life and in real world and online business, there's going to be situations that pop up that don't go according to your plan. Majority of people who start an online business, they think they're starting a business that's going to be easy as pressing three simple buttons, a one, two, three, flip the switch, and then income is just going to start generating. That's not the case. The majority of people, they get a reality check really quick. The reality check comes, and then they realize that the plan that they had, the idea, whatever it was that they thought was going to happen, is not the way things are going to go. So at that point, they decide to make another decision. It's decision time. They say, hey, do I continue on this path? Or do I just, choose something else? Do I just decide that this isn't for me? Now, that's a big decision to make. Now, today is Take Your Heart Back Monday. And when it comes to Take Your Heart Back Monday, it's the beginning of your week. for most people. You have to decide a few things on this day, just like you have to decide a few things on other days. But on Mondays, you have to decide, how are you going to go into work today? How are you going to start off this week? Knowing how last week ended, you might still have some feelings about it. You might still have feelings about the previous week, even before that. You might be feeling something specifically about the last month or the last few months or the last few years of how your personal journey has been going. Maybe you've been in a situation for so long that it hasn't been serving you and it hasn't been going according to your plan, that now you just anticipate things continuing to go that way. And not only do you anticipate things going that way, but you also go into the new day with that mindset. You become that grumpy old man or that grumpy old woman. You become that person that's filled with negativity because you expect something negative to happen. So we want to make sure that we break that mindset. First and foremost, the quickest route to success is the mental route. Switching on that switch. Now, it's not an instant switch. It's something that you have to develop. It's something that you have to prime yourself for. You have to fill yourself with enough positives in order to combat the negative. And once when you do that enough, then you are able to flip the switch in your mind mentally a little easier. You're able to go from, hey, regular, relaxed weekend mode to now more professional work mode. You know what you have to do, whether you've enjoyed your job or whatever's going on in your life thus far, whether you've enjoyed it or not. By now, you're an expert at living that life. You know what to expect. You know that, hey, it's going to be hard. It might be some things that you don't expect, and it might be some things that you can, make better, that you can change. And you have to focus on that. You have to focus on the things that you can actually make better so that you don't continuously go through the same mental cycle, doing that mental gymnastics, flipping around in your head, just talking to yourself about, how things aren't going according to plan, how things are so bad, how things, you know, might look like it's not going to get any better. But you can make that mental switch. Switch up your mindset first, because success is looking for a good home. Success is like energy. Some people have a vibration about themselves. Successful people, usually they have a certain type of, as they say, swag. They have a certain type of way that they walk, certain type of way that they talk. And all the time they're not happy. They're not happy the majority of the times. They have problems just like every other person. But they're able to turn on a specific switch within themselves in order to activate what's needed in order to create that success or to continue to maintain that success. And it's usually an internal driver. That's why that song is so powerful. That internal driver is something that I want you to have on a daily basis. That's why I play that in the intro, so that you can start out this journey with an internal driver, something that inspires you, something that helps you turn on that switch. Now, when I hear the song myself, it brings me to life. It gives me a extra sense of purpose. It inspires me, it motivates me, and it's kind of like a caffeine shot. Like, that boost of caffeine. If you're sleepy, if you're tired, it's something that wakes you up, that gets you going. And it does that for me, and I hope it does that for you. Now, I don't want to get too deep into today's live because I know, once again, it is a Monday. And for the majority of people, you already have a lot on your plate. You want to just get through the day. You want to see how day one goes in your life. And that's going to, help you set the tone for the rest of the week. A lot of people go through this Monday morning blues. So we flip that around, right? We don't look at negativity. We don't look at things in a negative light. Today is Take Your Heart Back Monday, and I just wanted to share something with you guys. Something that I came across. There's actually two articles that I came across, but I want to focus on one in particular, and we just going to go straight to it. We're just going to go straight to it, and I want you to see this title, because in that beginning training, we played the training video about Gen Z and their challenges. They have specific challenges that's different from a lot of other generations, right? Each generation has their own challenge and struggle. And you know, that's a cycle. That's something that never changes. The only thing that's certain is change, right? So everything is going to be a looping type of situation, but it's going to be something that you'll be able to survive. You'll be able to survive, and a good amount of you will be able to thrive in that situation. But look at this. This right here is something that's affecting Gen Z, but it's also affecting another group of people, and we're going to get to it. So it says here the economy keeps adding jobs. Why are so many people having trouble finding one? Now, we've gone over before why Gen Z have been having issues finding jobs. A lot of Gen Z, they're at the point where they've got their associates, their bachelor's, or even their master's degree. Now, the age range of Gen Z is, I believe, between the ages of 13 and 28. So by the time you graduate from high school at 18, then there's another 10 years that you have in order to be in that Gen Z category. Now, that 10 years you can spend on furthering your education, going to college, maybe another 2, 4, 6, or however many years it takes for you to get your preferred degree. And these last few years have been, something that's been very challenging to that particular generation because of the implementation of one of the most powerful tools and one of the most disruptive tools to ever be created, and that's AI. So the mainstream use and implementation of AI has changed the game for a lot of people in general within the last 4 years or so. But I want you to look at this picture. Now, as I looked at this picture, I noticed a few different things in here. I laughed, I made some jokes, some things came to my mind. I'm looking at it, and of course, this picture right here represents, it looks like a job fair. So as you can see, as I hover over, it says the US is adding jobs on net, but it's still a tough time to be job searching. So this picture right here represents people who are job searching. This could be a job fair, and this individual right here is representing a company that has a job to offer. So you have one gentleman right here, looks like he's either handing his resume to show that, hey, he might be the person for the job, and he's looking for a job. Now, looking at this individual, I would say he's possibly in the age range of a Gen Z. Then we have this individual right here. So I'm looking at this brother, and first thing that sticks out in my mind is he's looking right there. He has his cell phone out. So he has his packet right here with hopefully his information in it, his resume, whatever else he has. But he's right here in his cell phone. So I'm looking at that. That's the first thing that come to my mind. And then I look at this brother that's right here, and I have to laugh because I'm saying to myself, he's looking at him like, bro, you about to be in front of this recruiter, and look at you, what you doing on your phone? So he just has that look on his face like, bro, you on your phone right now? But I'm looking at that and I'm saying to myself, there's certain things that's going on in the world today that might be leading to why so many people are having trouble finding a job. One thing is, the availability of the right job for the right person. And another thing is the focus of the individual. Some individuals aren't focused on what they need to be focused on. They're not the right person for the job. And, that's always been the case. That's something that never changes. There's always going to be people that's right for a job, and there's going to be people that's not right for a job. But as we scroll through this article, it doesn't have a key takeaway section. So we're going to scroll through and we're going to find some interesting things. And this is going to help you. This is going to help you in your online business. So it says here the job market is showing revived strength despite big name companies announcing layoffs. All right, so we got layoffs and revived strength. Now, this right here is based off of, it says here, the economy has had its best 3 month average job growth since early 2024. But it's still hard for some to find a job, and inflation outpacing wage growth is a new issue. So the jobs are becoming more available, right? So even though there's layoffs occurring, there's jobs being more available also. So as it says, it gives an example. From about 8,000 layoffs at Meta to thousands of cuts at Amazon, media outlets have been following high-profile employment changes. And we've talked about this over the last, let's say, month or so. We've covered these stories, so we saw what was going on in the market. We've been able to identify where these companies were laying off people and what they were actually replacing those people with. Now, as I look through this article, I scrolled through, but I didn't see the one word in here or the two letters in here that I normally see. And I think that was for a purpose. I think by now, a lot of people don't even have to see those two letters in order to kind of say to themselves, this has something to do with it. And those two letters is AI. So there's a lot of different reasons for, layoffs. There's a lot of different reasons for more jobs being created also in specific sectors. But as we go on and we go through, I haven't seen AI mentioned, or if I have, I might have glazed over it, but I haven't seen that specifically mentioned. But there's one thing in here that, you know, it even worries me to an extent. Now, me being a tech guy, me being someone that's, really into, you know, various things. So there's not a sector or too much that I'm not willing to learn about or that I don't have some form of experience in. From the being on camera to talking to being social to being this, that, and the third to being more on the tech side to being, an employee at one point in my life, for years to being a traditional business owner at one point in my life to, various other things. So it's not too many sectors of life that I haven't experienced. But when I read this, it kind of made me, you know, it made me worry a little bit. And it's not something that's a new worry, but it's something that I thought about, you know, previously. You know, I've thought about it before, and it's something that a lot of entrepreneurs might not even think about, but it's very important that you actually, start to think about it in a way that it either makes you more serious about your online business or your personal business, or it might make you reconsider it altogether. So as I'm scrolling through, let's see. So it says here, let's see right here. So it says the monthly jobs report out on June 5th showed the economy had 3 straight months of robust gains through May, well above what's needed to keep unemployment steady and the highest 3-month average since early 2024. So what that's really saying is, once again, the jobs are out there. The jobs are available. So there's other issues at play. So of course, people not being qualified, once again, different sectors, different, job opportunities. And then we get into some more numbers. So when it comes to your online business, these are the things that you're going to need to do in order to be successful. You're going to have to be numbers driven. You're going to have to look into the information, the data as you get it, and learn how to interpret that data, that information, and how you can use it for your benefit. What are the numbers telling you in your business? What is the numbers telling you in your particular niche? And how can you flip that so that it works in your favor? So this is what you should be always looking at: information, valuable information, and making it work for you. So once again, it says here, it says the US added 172,000 jobs in May, about double the expected gain. The same jobs report showed upward revisions to the previous 2 months, from a job gain of 185,000 to 214,000 in March, and from a gain of 115,000 to 179,000 in April. Together, that makes the highest 3-month average since March 2024. So they just restated once again what was said, but they actually they put some numbers there. They made it more real. And they actually showed here that previous versions of what they said was, being done, how many jobs were actually being pushed out there, those were wrong. They were underestimated, projections, and that the gains were a lot more. So that right there adds it even, another layer of perspective. Because some people, they look at situations and they say, hey, okay, and in March at the time, they probably saying, hey, 115,000 jobs, that's not enough. There's so many people that's unemployed and I can't get a job because there's not enough jobs being produced and everything. So that's the reason why I wasn't able to get a job out of that 115,000 new jobs. So, people are going to always find a reason, for the season, so to speak. But then find out that, the actual numbers was, 179,000. So that's a lot more jobs. So does this make you feel a little bit better? Was it more so the job market that was the problem, or was it you that was the actual problem as to why you weren't able to get a job out of this 179,000 available new jobs, right? So you have to look at that. And so, as usual, this right here, even though it's numbers about one specific thing, I want you to learn how to apply it to what you do. Are you the type of person that comes up with a reason for every season? Did you catch a cold outside because the weather is bad? Or did you catch a cold because you didn't bundle up? You didn't wear enough layers. You didn't do what you needed to do before you left the house in order to protect yourself from the cold weather. Did you, pass out in the heat, in the blazing heat? Was it because it was, 95 degrees? Or was it because you decided not to drink enough water? You didn't keep yourself hydrated, or you came outside with the wrong attire. You came outside with long sleeve shirt, a jacket on, some Timbs on in 95-degree weather, thinking that you just gonna walk. You gonna walk it out in the beating heat in the sun. And that's why you ended up getting heat stroke and passing out. So is it nature? Is it the the one thing that we know that's going to be a constant, the change? Because we know seasons come and seasons go, and that's been the same throughout, the beginning of time. But were you prepared? Did you take the necessary actions? And that's how you have to look at it in your business. Did you get hit with something unexpected? Well, something unexpected is always going to happen. But what is your reaction to that unexpected situation? Do you look at it and you say, "Hey, that situation happened. I'm glad that I experienced it so that I know how to deal with it next time a situation like that happens." Or I know how to avoid having that type of situation ever happen again. So you have to look at this. Then they even give it to you in a graph. So this right here tells you the same information, but it's on a chart and it shows you month by month. Now, this information is helpful and is valuable to the right person, the person that sees value in valuable information. This right here is a prime example of one piece of information, one direct message, but being given to you or given to a target audience in various ways that somebody can understand it. See, now when it was just about, you know, the job market and there was no stats or statistics in there, you know, some people might have been like, well, they just saying stuff like that might be true, that might not be true. But then once when, it was given to you another way where you see some numbers, some factual numbers and some revisions, then other people might say, well, this is becoming more real. This is, it's starting to make a little bit more sense. And then when they switch up and they give it to you on a graph or a chart, a whole other group of people might say to themselves, well, hey, look at this. Look at the decline, look at the increase, look at all of this information and look at where we're at now. That might be the tipping point for them to actually take their heart back on a Monday. So when you're creating your content, when you're building your business, this right here becomes valuable because you just learned a valuable lesson in presentation. How do you actually convey a message to a target audience? You might have to do it 3 different ways or 4 different ways, but keep the same message and tweak it just a little bit so that it speaks to your right target audience, right? So that right there is, one of those secrets to success that's right in front of your eyes. But a lot of people miss it. They gloss over it. They don't actually see the value in valuable information. And that goes for, when a person's watching a online training. When you see on social media and it says, hey, sign up for my free exclusive training to learn how to do this, that, and the third. And then you get on the training and you're looking at all of the information, just like it's being presented here. And then you find yourself at the end asking yourself, okay, well, where's the where's the secret? Nobody, I still didn't learn. I still don't see how it is to build a business and then you go and find somebody else's training to watch, and the cycle continues because you're not looking at the valuable information. You're not able to identify what's valuable. So this right here is a strong lesson. So as we see here, it talks about, the different sectors, different industries that's, gaining more job availability. So let's look at this, because this right here is going to help a certain group of people out too. So it says healthcare, which has been an engine of growth for the past couple of years, isn't the only field propping up the job market. Leisure and hospitality had the highest net gain last month, likely partly driven by World Cup demand, followed by government and healthcare. So this right here is very valuable. Can you see the value in this one part here? If you're an online business owner, if you're running a business where you're selling a product or service, or you're promoting a product or service, do you see how this right here could possibly change your business completely? Well, it's talking about a specific niche. This might not be your niche, but it's talking about a specific niche. It's talking about healthcare. Okay. That's been a, engine of growth for the past couple of years. Okay. So, that seems like that's something that hasn't changed, right? That's something that's pretty steady. So when you ask people, hey, what type of business they're in, and they say, hey, I'm in the health and wellness business, we promote these type of products. Why are they promoting those type of products? Well, because healthcare is something that's been an engine of growth for the past couple of years. And they're just saying the past couple of years, but it's been a engine of growth for decades. Everybody wants to look better, feel better, and be better. So that's why you can never go wrong if you get into the healthcare niche, right? But then it goes here, it goes to something else that kind of becomes more of a seasonal type of situation. So I'm going to ask you, what type of business are you currently in? Is it a product or service that's only seasonal? Something that people don't actually need year round, but they need it for specific situations? Well, this right here is for you. So it says, yeah, leisure and hospitality. Okay, what that mean? Like leisure, so fun and enjoyment, things that people do to relax, things that people, dream about doing on a Monday when they know that, they have to go into their work, and they have to, this is just the beginning of the week, and they're looking forward to that Friday. They're looking forward to leisure time, but it's so far away. So you can be the solution for that particular person. Share with them something on a Monday to get them excited, prep them up on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then by Friday, they're so excited about what you shared with them that they're already planned it in their mind. They already have the mindset switch throughout the week about what they're going to do once when they're finally off, right? So that's that leisure and hospitality, hotels, vacation type things, right? And why is it? Why has it had its highest net gain last month? Well, it says here World Cup. So the World Cup, those games are going on. And when certain situations that are popular is happening, certain, niches, certain opportunities become better. So what particular opportunity is available to you in your particular niche, in your particular area? Maybe you have a specific, I don't know why, but food just came to mind. A pie. Maybe you're into baking. Maybe you sell a cookbook of recipes for baking, not bacon, but baking. But maybe you look on a calendar and you see in your specific area that, just like they have those things, you have coffee day, you have donut day, you have all these different days on the calendar, right? People pay attention to these things. What if there was a pie day? Well, I believe there possibly is. Let me do a quick little search. What day is Pie Day? Look at this. National Pie Day is celebrated annually on January 23rd. National Pie Day is a food holiday in the United States dedicated to celebrating pies of all kinds, from sweet fruit pies to savory meat pies. Did you know that there was a pie day? Hmm. Well, if you're an online marketer, you possibly do know that there's a such thing as a pie day. So now that you know that there's a pie day, what other days do you think there are on the calendar? These are little mini holidays that people celebrate, small niche communities, right? Like I said in the beginning training, it talked to you about building a community, right? That's where your power lies, right? Building communities that are interested in specific things. Now, if you know, January is the month, January 23rd, right? It said it's Pi Day. Then maybe a couple of weeks before that, you're prepping people. You're prepping people. You're making ads. You're making posts about, what's coming up Pi Day and your special offer. Maybe that might be your one big day out of the year. Can you make the best of it? Do you have a digital product, not a physical product that you have to package up and sell and ship and things like that? Maybe you have a digital product that you can get out all on that one day within that 24-hour period and sell that digital product to 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 people who are celebrating that specific day, right? So there's things all around us that's giving us a heads up as to how to build a profitable business. And the one thing that I love about being here inside the Hustleverse is that we do things and we talk about things that nobody else will talk to you about. Most other places they're generic. They're going to give you the same talking points, the same things to look at. They're going to give you one way of looking at things, but they're not going to show you the graph. They're not going to show you the graph, or they're not going to show you the numbers, or they're not going to show you the other graph. So we got an up and down chart. Then we have another type of graph here. You know, they're not going to touch on the different points. They're not going to present it to you in the exact same way, nor should they. And that's what makes the Hustleverse valuable. See, it's not my goal to imitate or remake what somebody else is doing, because let them be them. Let them be great at what they're great at. It's not on you to be a competitor of someone else. Just because you sell pies and they sell pies, that don't mean nothing. How many different pies are there that you can create? You could be both selling apple pies. It doesn't matter. Yours might taste better than theirs, or theirs might taste better than yours, but you can still outsell them because of the way you position and present your information. Now, as we go to wrapping this up, I want you guys to see the one main point or the one main thing that stuck out to me also in this. So, as we scroll through, it says something that's very powerful. And let's see where it's at. Where is it at? Where is it at? So it talks here about the Bureau of Labor statistics showed the hiring rate dipped in April to 3.2%, which Glassdoor's chief economist Daniel Zhao wrote is comparable to the 2010s when the job market was still recovering from the Great Recession. Now, I've talked about the Great Recession, right? That was around the time where I had my commercial cleaning business, and that changed everything for me. So the crash or the recession in 2008 changed a lot for me, right? So I've experienced some of these times, some of these things that changed. But that's not exactly what I wanted to talk to you guys about, but that's a very important note right there. And let's see, where is it? Here it is. Here it is, right here. This is something that sticks out to me, and it might stick out to a lot of entrepreneurs. A lot of people who are entrepreneurs might worry about this specific thing. And once again, it might force you to take your business a lot more seriously, or it might force you to look at life and everything else a little bit differently. So it says here, it's also still hard to get out of long term unemployment or being unemployed for at least 27 weeks. Months long employment can have, and I believe they it should have say unemployment, right? So months long employment can have financial consequences, especially since many states offer just 26 weeks of unemployment benefits. So it says of the 7 million unemployed people in the US, 27.5% had been unemployed for at least 27 weeks in May, which Ulrich said is fairly high in an economy with healthy job creation. Now, why is that important? Well, it's kind of like, the Gen Z type situation, or even, you know, looking at the Gen Z 18-year-old, let's say, someone that, let's say for the majority of part, they're getting out, they just graduated high school. They might not even have gone to college yet, or might not even be considering going to college, but they want to just go straight into the workforce. What is one of the biggest challenges to getting a job at the age of 18 or getting a pretty good job, a decent job? One of the biggest challenges is when you go and you speak to someone and your resume is basically empty. You have no experience. So having no experience is bad because, the job, they'll look at you and say, hey, what experience do you have? Or we're looking for someone with 1 year, 2 year, 3 years experience, and you don't qualify. So then you say to yourself, well, how do I get experience if nobody will give me experience? So in part, going to college and getting a degree is one of those type of buffer type of situations where you can say, hey, I've been studying and I've been learning and I've been educating myself for all of these years. I've gotten this degree, and this gives me some form of authority to say that, yes, I can do this job if you give it to me. That's what a degree really helps a lot of people with. So keep that in mind, right? But what happens when you're possibly not a Gen Z, or you might be older, or you're in any age bracket and you have been unemployed for 27 weeks or more? That's over 2 years. If you've been unemployed for over 2 years and you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even worse so if you're in your 60s, right? Because hey, people are like, hey, you should be retiring at this time. Like, we're not really trying to hire, somebody that's at the point of retirement age, and you've been out of work for over 2 years, 27 weeks. That's the other thing that people, that put people in a bad situation where they're not employable, where they struggle to get a job. That one thing, that gap in work history. So it says here, people who have been unemployed are having a really hard time transitioning out of that unemployment, and employers don't really seem to be motivated to pull from that pool. Hmm, that's tough. See, me personally, I've been operating my business, you know, luckily, I say luckily and skillfully for over the last 5+ years. My last, corporate job ended in 2018. So we're talking about 27 weeks, 2 years, as compared to 8 years that I've been out of the workforce. That technically, to a hiring person, they'll say, hey, you've been unemployed for 8 years. Yeah, but I've operated my own business for the last however many years. Now, that right there might hold some weight depending on what the position is. If it's kind of like a management type position, if it's something that, requires leadership or whatever specific skills that comes with what I've been doing for all of this time, right? That may be very valuable. But what if, you know, that's not the case? What if they don't respect that as much as they respect someone who, hey, has associates, bachelors, because those type of things are still on the application. You need this amount of years of education. Me myself, I have 1 semester of community college. hmm 1 semester of community college. So for someone like me, been out of the workforce for 8+ years, whose highest education level is 1 semester of community college, that right there would be a hard situation for anyone that's in my particular situation and my age bracket. No matter what age bracket you're in, that would be something of a challenge. So, what's the solution? Well, the solution that I have for you guys today on Take Your Heart Back Monday is that you get serious about building your own business. Something that no one can actually say, hey, you're hired or you're fired from. You're the person that's in charge of whether or not your job continues or you can get denied for the job. If you decide that you want to quit, that's on you. If you decide that you want to push forward, work hard, build a business, go through those unexpected situations, understand that they're going to come, and be willing to, look at the stats, look at what the numbers say, and say, hey, this is what I see, and this is how I'm going to work to tweak it. If you're that type of person, I want to connect with you. I want to take it back to what we always take it back to, right? The most valuable document in all of online marketing, where you can actually grab access to your foundational skill sets that will allow you to not have to worry about being employed ever again. Because if you can gather the foundational skills and tools, then you can actually build whatever it is that you want on top of that foundation. And that is something that you can actually own yourself. So if you're interested, I want you to click the link in the description of this video. so that you can get access to that document. And I want you to click this, what I consider to be the second line on the document that says grab your mega link so that you can get access to your foundational tools. And before we close out, I got one more thing for you guys, just for you staying and being with us to the end of this live. I want to debut a new song, a new music video. And I want to ask you also, if you want to learn how to build a profitable, fun, and creative business using AI and content creation, start off here and connect with me so that you can actually get my exclusive magnetic content creation training and get access to the same tools that I use on a daily basis to create unlimited pictures, unlimited videos for my content, and to be able to create music videos so that you can take the Hustler's 10 Minute a Day Challenge document to a whole nother level. So that once when you've created your song, then you can actually create your music video for it. And, just because you're creating a music video, that doesn't mean that you have to stick and stay in that particular niche, right? If you can create a music video, then that means that you can create a commercial ad. You can make commercials for various products and services. You just have to have a mindset switch that allows you to do it. So with that, I'm going to pull up our latest music video. And this is one brought to us by Miss Hustleberry. And this right here is featured on the Welcome to the Hustleverse album, which is the album of the year for 2026. And you'll get exclusive access to that album also right when you grab your mega link. Is one of the exclusive bonuses that you only find if you grab your mega link specifically through me. Is one of the bonuses that I provide to all of the people that get started with me, so that you have an inspirational, motivational album, something that you can listen to, ride to, play, even if you got the kids in the car. There's no profanity in it. It's all positive, inspirational, and it's something that will help fuel you as you're building your business. So we have everything you need here to get started. So I'm going to fade to the back once again. I hope you enjoy this video, and we're going to close out. And I'm looking forward to getting back into the groove because, like I said, with all of the stuff that's been going on the last couple of days, I haven't been, online much. Still had to get everything ready and set up. I still have to get some things set back in place, but we're going to move forward, and it's a learning experience. What it's taught me is that, no matter what, we can keep going. And even when interruptions come, they're going to come. It doesn't mean that it stops the show. Nothing stops the show. We keep moving. We keep showing up consistently. And that's what we need when it comes to building a strong community that you can depend on. So with that, I look forward to seeing you in the next live. Have a great rest of your day. Let me pull that up for us. And here we go.
Ain't nobody teach me how to dream out loud. I had to learn it by listening. I was raised by my own voice, talking me through the night. When the world stayed quiet, I kept my future in sight. No crowd in the corner, no hand on the rope, just a voice in my chest saying, girl, don't let go. They try to define me, but I chose my choice. Step of survival was me raising my voice. I didn't wait for permission to follow the noise. I was raised by my own. My thoughts, how to turn lonely rooms into something I fought for. Mirror talks when nobody checked in. I became my own friend, learned how to listen. Mama loved me, but life don't slow down. So I learned how to self-soothe when fear came around. I asked myself questions nobody asked me. Found answers in patience, not instant gravity. Told me be realistic, I heard be small. But my inner voice say you built for it all. I walked through doubt with my head still high, cause the voice in my chest never let me lie. I ain't need applause to know I was ready. I rehearsed my courage when the room stayed empty. I was raised by my own voice, talking me through the night. The world stayed quiet. I kept my future inside. No crowd in the corner, no hand on the road, just a voice in my chest. Girl, don't let go. They try to define me, but I chose my choice. Never survive was me raising my voice. I didn't wait for permission to follow the noise. I was raised. Waiting on validation, I learned self-belief was a full-time occupation. Every setback tried to lower my tone, but my voice got stronger when I stood alone. I whispered plans I was scared to admit, and spoke them out loud till they started to fit. Pain tried to teach me I wasn't enough, but my voice clapped back like you built from tough. I didn't borrow dreams, I grew my own. Watered every vision with tears I own. When love felt conditional, success felt fake. I chose my voice cause it never escaped. I don't shout for attention, I speak with intent. Every word got weight, cause it's honest and meant. They hear confidence now, but they don't know it started as a whisper I refuse to ignore. Now I teach with my tone, hear with my sound. Same voice that raised me that for others now. I ain't loud for approval, I'm steady and sure, cause I learned how to lead from my inner core. If you hear this and feel it, that's not by mistake. That's your own voice knocking, asking you to wake. You don't need permission to choose your lane. Just listen real close when you say your name. I turn in a dialogue into direction. Made self-trust my favorite connection. Every woman got power buried in noise, but freedom start the moment you trust your voice. So I stand how I grew, self-taught poised, forever grateful I was raised by my voice, by my voice. I was raised by my own voice, brave, talking me through the night. Made the world stay quiet, but I kept my future inside. No crowd in the corner, no hand on the road, just a voice in my chest saying, girl, don't let go. They try to define me, but I chose my choice. Every survive was me raising my voice. I didn't wait for permission, I followed the noise. I was raised by my own voice. We got more ways to communicate than ever before. Woke up to silence, Dreams still heavy, phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane, but I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's game. That got me dancing with denial at night, scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day sounded small at first, but in silence even whispers can't quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink, mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. From the corner of doubt, I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. People laugh, said she doing too much. To my PayPal ping, then they changed up the touch. No big brand, no six-figure crew, just a mic, some lyrics, and a dream that grew. Tired of waiting for the gatekeeper's call, so I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spin like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted, but now my bars turn pain into coated. From broken to branded, I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom and I claim my name now. Hustle berry on loop like healing chants, for the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain, cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, it's a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow my belief till their purpose clear. Haters still quiet, but I'm loud with grace. Posting in peace, not a mask on my face. Every bar I drop, every beat I